Welcome to Godly Fathers channel. Today we'll be looking at, do we need to fear God or to be afraid of God? Before we start, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we'll appreciate it if you can just click on subscribe button. The concept of fearing God is a recurring theme throughout the Bible. It is essential to distinguish between fearing God in the biblical sense and simply being afraid of God. The former is deeply rooted in reverence, awe, and respect, while the latter is associated with terror and dread. Understanding this distinction helps believers align their relationship with God according to biblical teachings. Fear of God, reverence and awe. Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Here, fear of the Lord is linked with wisdom and understanding. It is not about being scared, but recognizing God's sovereignty and responding with reverence. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. The fear of God is presented as a fundamental duty. It implies obedience, respect, and acknowledgement of God's authority. Psalm 111 verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. This verse reinforces that fearing God leads to wisdom and good understanding, emphasizing a relationship built on reverence. Being afraid of God, terror and dread. Exodus 20:18-19. When the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet and saw the mountain in smoke, they trembled with fear. They stayed at a distance and said to Moses, "Speak to us yourself, and we will listen. But do not have God speak to us, or we will die." The Israelites' reaction at Mount Sinai illustrates being afraid of God. Their fear caused them to distance themselves, driven by terror. Deuteronomy 5:24-26. And you said, "The Lord our God has shown us his glory and his majesty, and we have heard his voice from the fire. Today we have seen that a person can live even if God speaks with them. But now why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer." The people's fear was overwhelming, leading them to avoid direct interaction with God. This type of fear is characterized by dread and an overwhelming sense of danger. The balance, healthy fear and relationship with God. Isaiah 8:13. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. This verse combines the aspects of reverence and dread, urging believers to regard God with profound respect while recognizing his power and holiness. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Paul reassures Timothy that the fear instilled by God is not one of terror, but is balanced with power, love, and self-discipline. 1 John 4:18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. This passage highlights that love, especially the perfect love from God, removes the kind of fear associated with punishment and dread. The biblical perspective on fearing God is complex and multifaceted. It encompasses a deep reverence, respect, and awe for God's majesty and authority. This kind of fear leads to wisdom, obedience, and a closer relationship with God. On the other hand, being merely afraid of God, characterized by terror and dread, is not the relationship God seeks with his people. Instead, God desires a relationship built on reverence and love, where believers recognize his holiness and live in obedience and awe, not in paralyzing fear. Understanding these nuances helps believers to cultivate a healthy and profound relationship with God, rooted in respect and love rather than mere fear. Thank you for watching. If you find our content useful and helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more Godly Fathers contents.